And once again, I want to say greetings to each and every one of you, Aquaba, and welcome. Welcome to another round of the Conscious Roster Report here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, here on livingin black.com. My name is Kidi Awadu, aka the Conscious Roster. Weekday mornings, you and I get together live. We come at you from 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's 12 noon Eastern time, 5 p.m. GMT, and 8 p.m., I should say 5 p.m. BST, and 8 p.m. East Africa time. We get together with you and we deal with culture, consciousness, historical perspectives. We deal with entertainment, economics, education, health, labor, law, politics, religion, family, conflict, future studies, all areas of human interactivity and human development. Today's date is Tuesday. It is the 19th day of August, Black August as we call it around here. The year 2025 in the Gregorian calendar corresponds to the year 6266 in the Kemetic calendar. Welcome to the seventh millennium. You have found your family in a peaceful place here on LIB Radio, LIB TV, here on livingin black.com. Let me tell you what we have on store for today's broadcast. The theme of today's program is Black media in the U.S., and I might say Black media around the world. Fade to black. Black media fade to black. In the U.S., radio and television news is, for the most part, primarily driven by private sector funding, much of it paid for by advertisers. There has always been the problem of lack of this needed revenue by Black media outlets. As a consequence of this funding gap, there is absolutely a dearth of Black radio and television today. What has been left behind has become woefully inadequate to supply our people with the information needed to compete. How will our people reverse this trend? Do we deserve to even exist? That's a serious question we're going to ask of the people today. We encourage you to be participant, be active today, be engaged. We need to hear your thoughts on this critical topic. And so, if you have the ability, please do like today's video. We are on all of our channels today. Not all of our channels, but we are on Rumble is our main broadcast channel. We are on YouTube as well. And we encourage you to tune in and lock us in on YouTube. Lock us in on Rumble. Hit not only the like button, but also hit the subscribe button and the notification task. It's very, very critical that you and I, we can continue to grow together. So hit the like button and let's get this party started. We're talking about Black media. And it is a struggle to get our word across. Unfortunately, it's a struggle that the bottom line is we are losing that struggle. I don't think we need to lose the struggle, but I have been wrong about many things before. And I may be wrong today. I may be clinging to, holding on to something that the next few minutes of dialogue are going to prove is obsolete. Let's go forward with today's broadcast. I have the first story up. I asked of AI, first to begin, list all I asked, of the Black newspapers and radio stations no longer operating since 2000 in the U.S. it couldn't begin to answer that. But it did give me the beginnings of today's conversation. Black media outlets post 2000. The provided context includes a list of defunct newspapers in the United States, some of which ceased operations after 2000, and information about radio broadcasting in the country. But it does not contain a specific list of defunct black radio stations since 2000. The list of defunct newspapers includes several African American publications that stopped publishing after 2000. These include Tampa News, a major newspaper in Tampa, Florida, that ceased publication in 1982. The Tampa Tribune, a newspaper in Tampa, Florida, that ceased publication in 1982. The Sarasota Journal, a newspaper in Sarasota, Florida, that ceased publication in 1982. Pasco News, a newspaper in Pasco, Florida, that ceased publication in 1982. The Miami News, a newspaper in Miami, Florida, that ceased publication in 1988. The Evening Independent, a newspaper in Panama City, Florida, that ceased publication in 1986. Clearwater Sun, a newspaper in Clearwater, Florida, that ceased publication in 1989. The Boca Raton News, a newspaper in Boca Raton, Florida, that ceased publication in 1989. The Hawaii Holomua, a newspaper in Honolulu, Hawaii, that ceased publication in 1895. And the Hilo Tribune, a newspaper in Hilo, Hawaii, that ceased publication in 1917. Now, that context does not provide information on black radio stations that have ceased operations since 2000. Let's go forward. An updated survey. Here is an updated survey of U.S. newspapers finds 360 more have closed since 2019. 360 more have closed since 2019. This, written by Rick Edmonds, appeared at pointer.org, June 29, 2022. And I can share this with you if you don't mind. I'm going to push this one up for our Facebook audience. And I'm going to post this up also for our Rumble audience. And I think I'll have to post it in two pieces. Let me see. Yeah, I'll have to post it in two parts. So the first part is just the title. And I'll have to do that on YouTube as well. Just the title is the first part. No, I don't have to. No, it is. I do have to do it in two parts on YouTube. And here is the rest of the link. Here's the hyperlink. This one is from pointer.org, business news. I'm going to post that up on YouTube, post it up on Rumble, and then let's share what the article has to say. And one more time on Facebook under today's broadcast. Come on, just cooperate. Don't freeze. Come on, talk to me. It's acting funny. I must try it again. And we will have it here very shortly. My computer is acting like the state of black media. It's dysfunctional. And if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Okay, here we go. We are up. I have that link. and posted. Let's go. Let's talk about this story. Again, the name of the article, the updated survey of U.S. newspapers finds 360 more have closed since 2019, written by Rick Edmonds. The authors deem it, quote, a crisis for our democracy and our society, unquote, but offer an exploration of promising solutions. The fifth edition of Penny Abernathy's report on local news in the United States, released Wednesday, finds that 360 more newspapers, almost all of them weeklies, have closed since 2019. That is on the list of the 2,500 closures since 2004, she documented in earlier reports. The result is even more news deserts in poorer and rural communities, and a growing split between haves and have-nots in access to local news. An infographic showing an overview of the local news landscape. Oh, that picture was on there. Sorry, that didn't need to be in the text. In this image, off-white represents areas with no local newspapers. Light blue represents areas with one newspaper. And dark blue areas have multiple newspapers. This report, the State of Local News 2022, in collaboration with the Medill School of Journalism at Northwestern University, painstakingly assembles a fact base on the local news landscape. But it also ranges more widely into an analysis of what is deemed a, quote, a crisis for our democracy and our society, unquote, and an exploration of promising solutions. Among the headline's findings, one, here, let me just bullet list this. Among the headline's findings, one, of the 100 largest dailies by print circulation, 40 no longer publish 7 days a week in print. Among those, Pointer's Tampa Bay News. Point two, very few daily newspapers of any size have gone out of business. Very few daily newspapers of any size have gone out of business, and the four biggest of those who were in 2 newspaper towns. However, financial pressure and chain and hedge fund ownership have hollowed out staffing. Many of the nation's 1,230 dailies are so slight that they could be called ghost newspapers. The total number of journalists working at local newspaper organizations is estimated to have fallen by roughly 60% since 2005 to 31,400. This graphic compares newspaper employment rates from 2006 to the left to 2021, right. Total newspaper employment has decreased by more than 70% in the past 15 years. Newspaper closures since 2004 average out to 2 a week. The Hendersonville Times News, an editor-publisher, reported Monday that the weekly in Mount Olive, North Carolina, near Raleigh, has been shuttered. Point. While Alden Global Capital and Gannett draw detailed national coverage, Abernathy sees a rise of regional media barons, lesser-known chains like Ogden, Adams, Paxton, and Cherry Road, with 50 to 142 titles. They are now the main buyers for weeklies that go on the market. Point. The digital-only sector, both non-profit and for-profit, is varied and growing quickly. However, with 545 digital-only state and local sites, most of them employing 6 or fewer journalists, the footprint of the new organizations does not yet come close to covering legacy journalism jobs lost. Point: philanthropists, entrepreneurs, and policymakers need to double down on rethinking ways of getting local news to those who are underserved. Without the development of new commercial models, as well as increased non-profit and public funding, the report concludes, the nation faces the prospect of local news being available only in affluent and growing communities, where residents can afford to pay for it. Medill and Abernathy promised 4 additional reports covering these topics in more detail over the next 2 months. Now, let's talk about the decline of newspapers. To do so, I am going to go to Wikipedia for this next news article. Let me post this up for those of you who do follow along and want to research along with your brother. This next news is from Wikipedia. And I'm posting it up on all of my various websites. And here is the story. The decline of newspapers. The decline of newspapers in the 21st century consists of the closure of many traditional newspapers, whether as printed or online versions, digital versions, and a decline in the number of professional journalists. Meanwhile, a small number of newspapers with a significant brand recognition have seen a significant rise in viewership of their online publications. In the US and Europe, newspapers are facing declining advertisement sales, the loss of much classified advertising, and precipitous drops in circulation. The US saw the loss of an average of 2 newspapers per week between late 2019 and May 2022, leaving an estimated 70 million people in places that are already news deserts and have areas that are high risk of becoming so. Prior to that steep decline, newspapers' weekly circulation had fallen 7%, and Sunday circulation 4% in the United States, their greatest declines since 2010. To survive, newspapers are considering combining and other options, although the outcome of such partnerships has been criticized. The decline of newspapers has various adverse consequences, in particular at the local level. For example, research has linked closures of newspapers to declines in civic engagement of citizens, increases in government waste, and increases in political polarization. The decline of local news has also been linked to the increased nationalization of local elections. Causes for decline. The newsroom, there's a picture, I guess, newsroom of New York Times, 1942. The newspaper industry has always been cyclical, and the industry has weathered previous troughs. The industry has weathered previous troughs. Television arrived in the 1950s, began the decline of newspapers as most people's source of daily news. But the explosion of the internet in the 1990s increased the range of media choices available to the average reader, while further cutting into newspapers' dominance as the source of news. Television and the internet both bring news to the consumer faster and in a more visual style than newspapers, which are constrained by their physical format and their physical manufacturing and distribution. Competing mediums also offer advertisers moving images and sound, and the internet search function allows advertisers to tailor their pitch to readers who have revealed what they are seeking, an enormous advantage. The internet has also gone a step further than television in eroding the advertising income of newspapers, as, unlike broadcast media, it provides a convenient vehicle for classified advertising, particularly in categories such as jobs, vehicles, and real estate. Free services like Craigslist have decimated the classified advertising departments of newspapers, some of which depended on classifieds for 70% of their ad revenue. Research has shown that Craigslist costs the newspaper industry $5.4 billion from 2000 to 2007. And that changes on the classified side of newspaper business led to an increase in the increase in subscription prices, a decrease in display advertising rates, and impacted the online strategy of some newspapers. At the same time, newspapers have been pinched by consolidation of large department stores, which once accounted for substantial advertising sums. Conversely, political scientist Robert D. Putnam found in Bowling alone that Americans who watch television news were more likely to read a daily newspaper. They were more likely to read a daily newspaper rather than less. That network television news viewership in the 1990s was falling faster than newspaper circulation. That cable news channels and news websites were drawing upon a declining segment of the population that regularly followed the news rather than expanding its size. And that the decline of news readership and viewership was attributable instead to generational differences of interest in news between the greatest generation and the silent generation versus baby boomers and Gen X. Press baron Rupert Murdoch once described the profits flowing from his stable of newspapers as, quote, rivers of gold, close quote. But several years later said, quote, sometimes rivers dry up. Simply put, wrote the Buffalo News owner Warren Buffett, if cable and satellite broadcasting, as well as the internet, had come along first, newspapers as we know them probably never would have existed. As their revenues have been squeezed, newspapers have also been increasingly assailed by other media taking not only their readers, but their principal sources of profit. Many of these new media are not saddled with expensive union contracts, printing presses, delivery fleets, and overhead built over decades. Many of these competitors are simply aggregators of news, often derived from print sources. But without print media's capital-intensive overhead, one estimate put the percentage of online newspapers at 80%. The percentage of online news derived from newspapers at 80%. 80% of the news online is derived from newspapers. Quote, And that's a very significant point that I'm making. Stray Godzilla, I see you in the house. He joins us at 9:26 a.m. Great to have you with us. It's always appreciable having you, Brother Stray Godzilla, in our family. Newspapers are doing the reporting in this country, observed John S. Carroll, editor of the Los Angeles Times for 5 years. Google and Yahoo aren't those people putting reporters on the street in any number. Blogs cannot afford it. Many newspapers also suffer from the broad trend toward fragmentation of all media, in which small numbers of large media outlets attempting to serve substantial portions of the population are replaced by an abundance of smaller and more specialized organizations, often aiming only to serve specific interest groups. So-called narrowcasting has splintered audiences into smaller and smaller slivers. But newspapers have not been alone in this. The rise of cable television and satellite television at the expense of network television in countries such as the United States and the UK is another example of this fragmentation. With social media sites overtaking TV as a source for news, for young people, news organizations have become increasingly reliant on social media platforms for generating traffic. A report by Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism described how a, quote, second wave of disruption, unquote, had hit news organizations, with publishers such as The Economist having to employ large social media teams with publishers such as The Economist having to employ large social media teams to optimize their posts and maximize traffic. Next, we're going to talk about the article is entitled Salon's Decline. The concept of the death of the news is a recurring theme in discussions about the American media landscape, with Salon.com frequently serving as a focal point for these debates. The site, founded in 1995 as a progressive and liberal news and opinion platform, has faced persistent predictions of its demise since its inception, with critics often citing its business model and editorial direction as vulnerabilities. While Salon has survived longer than many predicted, its evolution has sparked significant concern among former staff and readers who feel the publication has lost its original identity and commitment to in-depth investigative reporting. This perceived decline is often linked to broader industry trends. The shift from print to digital has led to a focus on generating constant content to drive ad revenue, often at the expense of original, time-intensive news gathering. This pressure has contributed to the privatization of media, quote unquote, privatization of media, where billionaire owners and corporate interests increasingly control news outlets, potentially undermining their ability to hold power accountable and serve the public interest. The situation has been exacerbated by the targeting of media by political figures such as President Donald Trump, who has pressured networks like CBS News and ABC News, and has signed executive orders to defund public broadcasters like PBS and NPR. The death of the news is not limited to digital platforms. The closure of traditional print newspapers like the New York Daily News which underwent massive layoffs in 2018, is seen as a significant loss for local journalism and democratic accountability. These closures leave communities with fewer resources for reporting on local government and institutions, citing creating, quote, news deserts. Similarly, the decline of other publications, such as the Village Voice and the New York Press, signaled a cultural shift, suggesting that the city and the nation were losing a vital space for diverse, independent voices. The erosion of trust in media is further fueled by the influence of tech giants. Bear with me one sec. The erosion is further fueled by the erosion of tech giants, the influence of tech giants, the decision by Meta, Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp to end fact checking on its platforms, and Google's move to discontinue fact checking in its search engine have raised alarms about the spread of misinformation. These actions, taken by privately owned companies with immense power over information flow, highlight how the death of public interest is intertwined with concentration of media ownership and the prioritization of profit over truth. So that's very important, very, very critical news, because we, again, were shut out. I should say, I was shut out, and I was not the only one shut out of Google. Banned all of my videos, some 2,000 of which I had been uploading to YouTube since at least 2016, maybe before, in fact, way before 2016, about 2006. My videos all disappeared, deemed as disinformation, misinformation by YouTube's censors, and now apparently YouTube is no longer using that algorithm. Did they restore my videos? No, they did not. Didn't even offer to. I see you in the house, Brother Shabaka. He says, greetings, Baba and LIB family. And welcome. I know, Brother Shabaka, you can appreciate the theme of today's program, which is black media, specifically in the U.S., fade to black. Black media is pretty much gone. Baba Junius knows a lot about this because he has been contributing to numerous black media sites in his lifetime. Junius is a very, very good writer. And we do miss, in our generation, my baby boomer generation, we had a chance to sample the best of the best. We had Listervelt Middleton, Like It Is. Like It Is wasn't his show. What was Like It Is? That was, I can't think of the brother's name. Like It Is out of New York. Like It Is. Who put that together? Like It Is out of New York. New York TV shows. Like It Is. And there was Tony Brown's Journal. TV show Like It Is was a public affairs news show broadcasting in New York City. And who was the host of it? The host, doggone it, he was really good too. Presented by Gil Noble. Praise be his eternal name, Gil Noble. We had so many good ones. Listervelt Middleton, Gil Noble, Tony Brown. Tony Brown is still around. I think Tony Brown is still around. I could be wrong. If I missed his death, somebody help me out. But Tony Brown's Journal was absolutely excellent. Tony Brown, absolutely courageous. Gil Noble, the same. Tony Brown's Journal was one of my favorite, absolute favorites. So we have known them, but we've seen them come and go. And the main thing is where is the money going to come from to run these outlets? I'm asking that same question right now as we are conducting an emergency fund drive. We don't want to leave. We, meaning I don't want to stop. Baba Junius does not want to stop. Brother Dwara does not want to stop. We are fighting, fighting, fighting to keep ours. But it doesn't look good. Because those who are listening, the numbers are declining. That's just the reality it is. Juma, are you with us today? You know you are appreciated for Africa One. She stays with us to the best of our abilities. Queen Mother Kashiba. And so many others. We have some new listeners. If you are a regular listener and you do appreciate LIV Radio, please do. Announce yourself. Announce yourself. And join the conversation today. It is a good day. And that's what I say. We're going forward. Shabaka is in the house. He writes, I certainly do. There are fewer quality shows available, and it seems like since interest is not there to support it. It is. That's true. And do your best, and we will be around as long as possible. I probably, based upon today's program, I probably need to grab whatever I can and quit immediately. But I am a hard-headed and I'm a creature of habit, and I am a fool. Let's keep going forward. I have more notes. Let's go back to the notes and keep going forward. Everybody hit the like button. That is what I'm going to ask you. Can everybody hit the like button? You can. Will everybody hit the like button? I don't know. I don't know. If they can't even hit the like button, that's a free giveaway. Then what is the chance that they'll donate $10 a month, $5 a month? That they'll donate a one-time donation of $10 or $20 to keep us open. I'm here with you, Baba, Brother Shabaka says, and I am very, very grateful. If there were no one else in the audience but you and me, Brother Shabaka, I'd have to close it. But at the same time, no one can mean more to this LIV radio family than you, Brother Shabaka. And I wish you all peace and prosperity. Prosperity. I wish you all prosperity. Let's keep going. Where am I at? Behind that at, my dad would say. The State of Local News Project. This article is written by Zach Metzger. Zach Metzger. Published on Local News Initiation, October 23, 2024. And let me put that up for the Local News Initiative. I put initiation. It should be initiative. Tive, not O-N. And let me put this one up for those of you who are studying along with us as well. Straight Godzilla is in the house. He says, misinformation, propaganda. What did he say? Misinformation and propaganda is mind control, clues and tools. Thank you, brother, for your comment. You know, you are always, always welcome to share your thoughts on your LIB radio network. And I'm going to post this up also on my Facebook page. There's one time, posted a second time on Facebook, and that's going to be completed right there. Here is what this article has to say: the State of Local News Project by Zach Mesker. Executive summary. Since 2005, more than 3,200 print newspapers have vanished. Newspapers continue to disappear at the rate of more than 2 per week. In the past year alone, 130 newspapers have shut their doors. In addition to these closures and mergers, papers are reducing their print coverage, including shifting from dailies to weeklies or ending print publishing altogether. In our 2022 report, the State of Local News Project predicted that by the end of 2025, the United States would have lost 1/3 of its print newspapers over the past 2 decades. In this year's report, we found that the country has already exceeded the mark. A little fewer than 5,600 newspapers remain, 80% of which are weeklies. Beyond newspapers, this report also tracks more than 660 standalone digital news sites, 227 public broadcasters, and more than 700 ethnic media outlets. More than 700 ethnic media outlets, which would be black media outlets, would come under that category. 600 standalone digital news sites, 227 public broadcasters, and more than 700 ethnic media outlets. Compared with last year, we saw a net increase of more than 105 standalone digital sites, including 30 newspapers moving online after ending their weekly print editions, and a net decrease of 10 ethnic media outlets. Our list of public broadcasters remained static. As part of this report, we also expanded our database to include more than 700 network news sites. These networks, such as Patch, Axios Local, States Newsroom, and Tap Into, have grown rapidly over the past 5 years and provide local news content to millions of readers. But as with standalone digital news sites, the coverage of these networks is heavily concentrated in urban and suburban areas, with more than 95% located in 179 metropolitan counties. In preparing this report, we combined data from a variety of sources, including state news associations, industry groups, and government resources. We also manually reviewed the different news outlets included in our database to ensure that they are consistently publishing original local news content that meets the critical information needs of the communities they cover. For more details about our research, please review our methodology. And so the facts are there. We are in crisis. And black people, more so than any other group, we're losing it. We're losing it. And that's sad. As I think about what I have done to help other blacks to get their station started, Brother Jamal, he's still going. Brother Delani has transitioned into the realm of the ancestors, and Harambe Radio, which was his visionary project, is no longer. There was World African Radio Production, I think it's called, out of London. My brother Spartacus, he made his transition. So therefore, World African Network, I think it was World African Network, is no longer there. How's radio going in your city? How is the newspaper going, black newspaper in your city? I remember there were so many. The Pittsburgh Courier, oh, so many. Buffalo Challenger. I used to write for them. The Carson News in Southern California. The brother Warren Daniel, who brought us the Carson News, Carson Community News, I think it was called, has made his transition. Seems like as the baby boomers are dying off, that we're also seeing black media dying off as well. Mm. Well, I'm not planning on dying. I'm not planning on dying. I'm planning to live a long, long life. I'm actually planning to live to about 2082. Now, I may live longer than that, but that's the plan. 2082. So we might keep LIB radio going. I can't tell because it's hard. If you do want us to keep going for even a month, because by doing one unique, detailed show every day, these programs that I am doing today will literally be fresh for the next 10 years or so. These are detailed shows. Yesterday's show, a functional medicine approach to peripheral neuropathy, not peripheral neuropathy. That program should last forever because it was a functional medicine approach, meaning it will forever be cutting edge. So we want to stick around. I'm going to share with you the link to our WhatsApp page, not WhatsApp, the link to our Rumble page. And I want you to see what it is that we have put up there. I think you should be very, very proud of your brother. Now, what you're going to see right here on Rumble, let me just write a note. Check this out. Check this out. Who else is doing it like this? I'm not saying nobody else is, but at the same time, I am saying who else? I don't know of anyone doing it like this. I could be crazy. I could be out of my mind. But I don't think so. So let me put this up. Who else is doing it like this? And you tell me what you see. Because personally, I think it is quite a great accomplishment. Rumble. Here's what we've put up. This is one page. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then you turn the page. And the 25th one up was just put up 27 days ago. So you turn the page, and 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 you're going to see that what we are doing is pretty significant. That's right. But there is a severe lack of support. For other baby boomers, and I don't mean to exclude Gen X, I don't mean to exclude Gen Y or Gen Z, the millennials, but to the baby boomers, since you are now in the senior position and are starting to die off, I ask the question, have you ever seen a collection of dialogues like this? This is pretty awesome. Titles just in the last 2 months, actually less than 2 months, include Tutmos III in the 18th dynastic period, ancient Egyptian Napoleon. Title, Stubborn Weight Loss for Post-Menopausal Women. Title, Functional Medicine, What the Experts Share. Title, Finding Our Place in the Global Wellness Market. Title, Ghana Coogee Village, A Plan to Build. Title, The Mastermind, Sunday, June 29. Title, I Am Ka. We are at a crossroads. Title, What is the Functional Medicine Solution to Sickle Cell? Title, Medical Nutrition Therapy, A New Approach to History. No, to healing, not to history, to healing. Title, The 4th of July and Cancer-Causing Foods. Title, The Mastermind, July 6 on LIB Radio. That's always our biggest show of the week. Title, What You Need to Know About Insulin Resistance. Title, That Black Vegetarian Life. Title, The Many Benefits of Cider Vinegar. Title, What Does Trump Want from African Heads of State? Title, Making Money in the Health and Wellness Economy. Title, The Mastermind on LIB Radio, Sunday, July 13. Title, The Life and Times of Nigeria's Muhammad Buhari. Title, Saudi Arabia Begins the Unthinkable, Dropping the Dollar, Petrodollar. Title, Jeffrey Epstein's Triple Secret Identities. Jeffrey Epstein's Triple Secret Identities. Title, The Past and Present Are Prelude to the Future. Title, Financing the Dream, How to Fund Our Global Village Vision. The Mastermind on LIB Radio, July 20. Title, Detoxify Your Liver with Living Superfood Every Day. Title, Foods that Fight Sugar Absorption for Diabetics. That's just half of them. That's just half of them. The others are more recent. And hopefully you did go to the link I just put out. The top 25 foods for vegans to gain weight and restore energy. Title, Alcoholic Seizures, Epilepsy, and Cannabidiol, CBD. Title, The Clash of Civilizations and Human Reproduction, The Best and Worst Habits for Your Brain Health, 21 Science-Backed Keys to Healthy Longevity. Global Trends 2040, The Future That We Intended to Be, and the title, What Would Marcus Garvey Do? Title, The Mastermind, AI-generated slop is overtaking YouTube, ridding your body of visceral fat, the mechanics of high blood pressure, cancers, and illnesses linked to Roundup. What you need to know about autoimmune disease, functional medicine, approach to preventing cataracts, natural antibiotics, strep throat, and functional medicine. Africa Can Feed the World 2025 to 2030. Festac African Renaissance Festival 2025. The Mastermind, a functional medicine approach to peripheral neuropathy. That was yesterday. And today, black media in the U.S. fade to black. I could almost just go ahead and quit today and just let this stand as a record. I'm not intending on quitting today. When I went on the air today, I did not intend to quit. But at the same time, there's no support. There's no support. For those of you who are on our Rumble page, there is a dollar sign you'll see at the bottom underneath the chat box. There's also a little, looks like a little red gift box there. Both of those are ways that you can make a contribution, make a donation. We certainly can use the money. I can't even keep the electricity on. It's not cheap. And our listening audience has already faded to black. I don't want to stop. That's the thing. Is that a flaw on my part? Not seeing reality and appropriately responding to what is right there in my face? It's hard. It's a hard decision to make. We're going to do the best we can to hold out. We're going to hold out. I ain't gonna give it up. I ain't gone. So sang the great Peter Tosh. I'm gonna keep fighting, fighting. We're not gonna give it up. Shabaka, you got my pledge. And I will, no doubt, have more moments of doubt. That's just the way it is. I'll be lying if I didn't say I'm thinking about shutting this down. If I didn't think about it every day, I'd be lying. But let's see where we go with this. You have been tuned in to LIB Radio, LIB TV. You have been tuned in to livinginblack.com. We aim to be your favorite. We aim to be permanently a solution that's in your face. We always did plan on being permanent, but things have gotten really dark. I want to thank you for being here today. I want to thank all of you for all you do today, all that you have ever done for us, and all that you do for the larger community. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are livinginblack.com. I want to say peace and prosperity to each and every one of you on your LIB Radio, LIB TV, and please, um, I guess I should or should not ask you to buy the books. Newspapers are closed. People are no longer reading to get the news. So you do your best. You can always text me in case you have a suggestion on how we can solve this crisis and how we can better preserve what it is that we are here to do. I would love to hear from you on your favorite. We aim to be your favorite. We are LIB Radio, LIB TV. We are living in black.com. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you on LIB Radio, LIB TV, and on livinginblack.com. Stray broadcast, I see you. Stray Godzilla, I see you in the house. Oh, I'm here. Best believe that. This info saved my sanity. This broadcast saved my sanity. Thank you. I do appreciate you, Stray Godzilla. And on that note, we're out of here. Peace and prosperity to each and every one of you.